issue. We still do 7 NUFC Matters show a week for free. But if you want to help support NUFC Matters, then there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast and video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications bell so you don't miss a single show. If you want to help us financially, then you can join the channel using this button with the membership starting at $1.99 a month. Or you can drop us a donation in the chat using a super sticker. We're also looking for sponsors. If you'd like your brand advertised on the flyers for the show and featured during the ad break, then email John at nufcmatters.com to arrange today.
You're the joker, the expert, the voice, but you wanna the crowd. A vision of weakness, you're dull, but your voice is so loud. I'm the butt of your joke, cause that's all more girls you hang round. You kill to make your imprint on my soul.
Good evening, welcome to NUFC Matters. It is the fans forum on this Monday night. Welcome to Darren, to John Parrott, he's accepted his name now, hates mayonnaise, Barry Hogan, Kevin, Alan, George and Ian. Good evening, lads.
Evening, Steve.
As always, we'll look back on the weekend's game and see if there's anything to talk about at Newcastle. Quiet weekend at St James's Park. But Darren, let's look back at the 2-2 draw against Bournemouth first, mate. Tough game that. Tough to watch, tough game. Point, I think, was deserved. I don't think either team deserved to win it. What was your take on it?
Well, I was at the stag do in York, but I gave you ticket to walk kid. I texted him after the game. I'm waiting for your thank you. So the reply I got wasn't a very nice reply. So I managed to watch the match down York in a bar, which I was so happy about. But what I seen in match, our midfield was all over the place. They were getting Bournemouth was getting in too easy. Gordon, Barnes, and Amron were all swapping. We had the main centre forward. But just you tell needs to change the formation. It's not working. The past team are getting far too easy, and I feel a bit. I am doubts on if he's going to down Burn. House keeps on playing them, and he need to rest. Not a rest, but he needs to be dropped. And be fair, there was no one stood out for a good game. B said Miley had a good game. To me, he did all right. But it's just shows how far we overachieved last year, and I think we've got a lot more bad results to come our way. Unfortunately, this season. So I'm going to change mine from 8th to 9th now. After that performance on Saturday, having no higher than that.
Okay, Chippers, thoughts on the game?
I don't know where to start. It was just I'm so frustrated with this. It feels like all the good work of getting an away win at Forest has gone to pot because you can't back it up by winning the game at home. That Bournemouth hadn't won a game in 5, so it was a game that you would have to think, yeah, we've had a full week ahead of it. You know, no disrespect to Bournemouth, but it's at home. You would like to think that 3 points is a must. But again, I don't. Something's not right at home at the minute, whether that's the formation or what. But we're just not at it. We're choking cheese away from home. We seem to enjoy playing with seemingly not much on the backs, and when it's his home, we just can't do it at the minute. I agree with the Dan Burn thing. I think for the sake of him, you've got to take him out just for, you can't keep doing it because unfortunately it's cost them again and again and again. And sadly, Eddie's taking too long to take them off, and he's taking them off when the damage is done, i.e. goals. I thought Botman and Shaw were awful. I thought like Clivert and the other one, Solanke, they got in far too easily behind our defence. Again, that's probably to do with the midfield situation. Miggy Almiron, what is he? Because I'm sorry, what I saw on Saturday was absolutely ridiculous. I saw somebody who had 4 shots, none on target. I saw somebody crossing the ball in the box when we had 5-foot players as strikers up front. And when we've got strikers in the box, he doesn't cross it in the box. I'm sorry, but I'm so frustrated that we can't back it up. And how many more points can we afford to drop now if we want European football? Like, how many more goals can we give away, which is so easy to give away? How many more times are we going to have to score 4 goals as one to get a point, even 2 goals as one to get a point when we should be winning them games? It's just, honest, it's so frustrating. I can't explain it. It's for me, this season feels like it should have been last season, because I think this season, for me, I would have accepted last season after staying up and all the hurrah, and then the 4th would have been acceptable this season, but I disagree a bit with Darren. I think it's not the fact we overachieved last season. It's because a lot of teams underachieved, like Liverpool and teams like that underachieved, and they didn't get as much points as that. So you may think we overachieved, but I think we did remarkably well. And I think the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, all them teams underachieved with the squads they had available to them. But something's got to change. We can't go to Arsenal on Saturday with that team starting, but unfortunately, I think we will, because straight away, Arteta doesn't need to be a genius to go give the ball to Saka. That's it, and it'll win them the game. It's straightforward. And the one thing that annoyed us a bit is what House after the match saying we're getting back to some sort of consistency like last season. Well, unfortunately, the only consistent thing we're doing at the minute is conceding goals left, right, and centre. That's the only consistent thing that's happening at the minute, sadly. So that's basically my rant, unfortunately.
Well, it's a rant, isn't it? Alan says this could be dismal listening tonight. Might just turn the volume down and watch chat and churn. Alan, you know what my views are. I went up there. I thought we might nick it. 2-1. That was my prediction at the weekend. 2-2 was a fair result. I enjoyed the goals. It was a different game to the 4-4 against Luton. But for me, I know where we are. I know where we're at. We went into a game with no strikers. We scored, fair enough, one was a penalty. We scored 2 goals. We could have had more. First half, I thought Bournemouth were the better team. Second half, I thought Newcastle were the better team. And that's it. And they're a bogey team for us. Certainly a bogey team for Eddie Howe. You can't get a win against them in the league. So am I too disappointed? I'm not. The injuries just keep on coming. We'll find out in due course what on earth's happened to Fabian Schär now. And that's just another one to add to the long list of injuries. So with the team that we've got out and with the players available, I am not downhearted at all. And like I said last night, Naka's like the person who left the game at 1-0 down in front of me. Don't come back, because you clearly don't know what it means to support a football team. You don't deserve
waste of a ticket.
You don't deserve a place in the ground, and don't come back is what my message would be to that person. There's so many of my mates who can't get tickets now and have been unsuccessful in every single ballot so far this season. Yet somebody like that waste space in the ground. And as for, don't get us started on an atmosphere and how to create an atmosphere. Honest to God, that really is boiling my urine. But
Yes.
Yeah, it's getting worse. We'll come to yours in a minute, mate. Barry, obviously you sit at home, listen to the match. If you don't get a chance to go, you'll have seen it on Match of the Day. You'll have seen the highlights, the low lights, whatever you want to call it. What was your take?
I think it was a battle. I think they played really well, which, to be honest, you expect that from them anyway. They do put up a good performance. I'm going to disagree with the 2 guys in front of us again. I think Burns taking the stick for our midfield. I think the midfield was really poor. There's no speed to them. There's no tracking back. They leave the defence in general totally uncovered. And I think that's caused us the majority of our problems. I take it Byrne gets done for speed, but he's being left so uncovered so many times by the three midfielders. It's absolutely shocking. I mean, on the plus point for me, I can't wait for Willett to get back. Because I think Willett will offer some pace. Anderson will offer some pace. It'll totally change the midfield if you've got those two in. I agree with the guys. I think Longstaff needs a break. I think he's had too many bad games, but we simply haven't had anybody there to come in to replace him. I think Miley's playing out his skin for a 17-year-old kid. He's done absolutely amazing. And thank God he has, because there isn't literally anybody else to play in that position. Agree with Steve. I think considering we had no strikers available at all, we got 2 goals. Yeah, you're disappointed. I had to laugh when you were talking about the Dubravka goal. And I just watched the highlights, and when you were saying about the water, the pitch, and then Dubravka sort of fell on his arse, and you just think, oh, how weird.
Exactly.
That to me just shows the type of season we're having. It's the sort of thing that'll happen. We're going to have a Mackham Seagull flying to one of the players next and blindside him as the ball's gone towards the goal, because it's just that bad look at the minute. But
Shaw, at least we won't bum it.
Well, I wasn't going to go there, but Shaw for me, if he's
Ian has been to hospital and had a procedure. Hence the reason it's on his mind. Anyway, carry on, Barry.
If Shaw's is injured, I would love to see young Murphy get a game. I'm waiting desperately for Alex Murphy to play, because I think he's going to be a one for the future. I know you don't want players to get injured, but I would like to see him play. And as I said, put the comment on for you guys last night, Steve, I would love to see it. If we do play Livramento and somebody tears him apart and makes him look like an arse, so they're going to stop slagging off Dan Burn. Because then it'll show that Livramento is not the ideal defender either, and he's certainly not a left back, as everybody keeps calling for him to play there. But I've yet to see Tino look outstanding in the left back position. I don't think it's his natural side anyway, but everyone's entitled to their opinions, even Ian.
And here he is. You've given him a great intro there. Ian,
is that a segue from Barry?
It's a segue. Yeah, it's a segue. So, give us your thoughts on the match at the weekend, Ian.
My thoughts are sort of agreeing with everyone in a way. You know, everything everyone's saying is right, coming from different angles. Even when they're disagreeing, it's sort of the same thing they're saying. If you expect Dan Burn to be able to look after a pacey winger, then you're dreaming. That's not what he's there for. That's not why he's getting put in. He's there for the defensive ability that he brings to the team. For when we go to that back three, when Trips goes forward, I've stuck up for Dan Burn on other forums and on last week on this, and I'll do it again. He's getting picked and he's doing his best, and you can't expect any more from him. He was no more culpable for what happened at the weekend than Botman. Botman for me was poor, which and it boils down to a lack of trust. Botman does not trust Dubravka. You can see it, even from Row W in the bloody nosebleed territory that I was sat in with Tommy, for that game. You could see he has no faith in Dubravka, and it's when it's all about the cohesive back five that we had is no longer available, and that's why, although I'm sticking up for Dan Burn, I would not be picking him. I'd put Tino there. I know Barry just said he's not seen Tino as a left back, and neither do I. He's a right back, but I tell you what, at the moment he's the best left back we can choose, so I would put him in. But people turning on Dan Burn, and I'm going to pick my words carefully here. But when their goal went in, where Burn got skinned for pace, Botman, I don't know what he was doing. When the goal they scored, but as soon as that ball went in, there was a minority of fans where I was sat who started chat straight away. The ball had only just hit the net and they couldn't wait to go Tino. And I'll not repeat what I said and a few lads around us, but it was and they shut up anyway. Let's put it that way. That's an embarrassment to me. The fact that I looked across the whole of the game, you know, next to where we were sat, and there was 8 seats in a row that weren't filled. 8 seats on our row that weren't filled. So what the heck's going on with these tickets? I don't know. There was. I'm not going to go on about players and games. We were. I'll say we weren't that good, but we you know, we've got no strikers. I don't know what the other lads' thoughts are on watering the goal area when it's peeing it down.
Yeah, I mean, the forecast was rain all day. I mean, we had a yellow weather warning on Friday for a Saturday and Sunday, and you know, the rain was coming, but clearly it's something that they decided to do. You know, whoever decides that that's the best policy, that's it. And it was a freak. It was just unfortunate that Dubravka slipped, and you know, it would have been interesting to see how the game would have gone had that goal not gone in, had somebody not been given that opportunity. I'm not sure whether it would have gone to 2-2. Both teams are very cagey, and then from that moment, Newcastle obviously you had to get back into the game. They did through the penalty, and the rest is history. But yeah, it's watering the pitch. It's interesting. Why did they do it? Is it to gain an advantage? Clearly, this time it didn't work. We've got plenty on. Spenny, we'll come to you now, mate. Give us your view on the game at the weekend, pal.
I'm going to disagree with what you, as usual.
All right. Okay.
The problems we've got here is because we can't play against the physical side, because we've got nobody physical in that team. Simple as that. We've got nobody that think when they're hitting us or tackling us or having a go, we've got nobody in there to get the foot stuck in. That's the problem. Not the blaming players, it's the blaming the players that's out who are out injured. It's nothing to do with the players on the pitch. Eddie's player the players he can. Simple as that.
Okay.
And for me, it was a free goal, the first goal that we let in. Bounced, it just come off his hand, he just slipped in. So what can you say about that? Not defence's fault. Second goal they scored, cracking goal. Defence couldn't do anything with that, could they? Not the defence's fault.
I think the keeper should have saved it.
You want me?
I think the keeper should have saved it.
It was a cracking goal.
I think he should have saved it.
You can't blame your players that's on the pitch.
No, I'm saying. I mean, their second goal, it was Fred, Botman, and Dan Burn, but I do think the keeper should have saved it, mind you.
For me,
Paul saves it, I reckon.
Yeah.
For me, for this physical threat we've got here, I would play 3 centre backs and 2 wing backs. I'll go back to that system because we're letting goals in defence. That's all I've got to say.
All right, Spenny. No, you make your point and you make it well. Kev, what went wrong and what went right on Saturday?
Well, there's a lot more went wrong than went right. We scored 2 goals. That's about it, to be honest. And not blow my own trumpet, but I've been saying this for weeks and weeks and weeks about our shape in midfield and personnel within it. Yes, we haven't got the players to do it, but again, it's up to the manager to grow a set and change something. He has to. At this juncture where we are now, obviously it's not working, but we're just stubborn. That's coaching. That you just stick by philosophies and all that sort of stuff. And I disagree with Spenny in terms of the 2 goals. Both goals could be been completely avoided. I don't care if the pitch has been watered. I don't care if there was 15 inches of rain on that park. And I'll tell you why. If you look at it from behind, and there's a still of it in the highlights. If you look when Sven Botman passes it and Martin Dubravka, and there's a massive press from Dom Solanke in their right side, and he plays it across, there's about a 15-yard gap that Sven Botman can play a ball into Lewis Miley when he's pinned up against their right back. And if that occurs, put it in the East Stand. We can't play across because of the press is too high within our own 18-yard box, and that was a diabolical decision from Sven Botman. So, not blame Martin Dubravka, whatever. Yes, he slipped. It is what it happens. However, if Botman doesn't play inside, or even switches it even further to Kieran Trippier, we can get out.
but he didn't. He played the easy pass to Dubravka, which is right on his goal line, which is suicidal. Why don't you just look further forward and miss their press out, which we've been doing pretty much all game, and hit Lewis Miley, who was pinned up against their fullback? So that could have been
At the
avoided.
time
That's an
Dubravka touched the
individual.
ball, there was no player on him, though.
It doesn't matter.
It does, because
he's got 8 yards of pressure.
You're saying he shouldn't have passed the ball back. That happens every day of the week in football. Every player does that.
If you look at the pace of the pass, if you look at the pace and the weight of the pass that's put into Martin Dubravka, and he has to take a heavy touch, or I'm not saying he's crap with his feet. The ball's bouncing and skipped into him, so he's got to adjust and have a touch in front of his own goal.
But that's what he trains for every day of the week.
Well, I understand that. I get that, but the initial I'm talking about the original decision made to play it back to him. I
don't think there's nothing wrong with it. That happens all season long.
But if you look at it, go long and hit Lewis Miley, who was right up pinned up against their fullback in a 1v1.
I can't agree with that. Like, I think there's nothing wrong with it.
There's stills and highlights of it.
It's a freak accident how it slipped.
The second one is a carbon copy of Luton's goal from their big centre forward who just peeled off. One ball through the middle of the park. Burn really, I'm not, again, it's just an evaluation. It's not a jumping on him, whatever, but he's not very good in 1v1 situations isolated by himself. Again, if you look at the highlights, and I had the pleasure to do it and stop it, Sven Botman screaming at Dan Burn to get closer to him, to get down the line of the ball. Yeah. He's screaming at him. If he gets down the line of the ball and stops that shot, or gets in the way, and it's called denying the finish. You can Google it all up and you can do all the research you want. It's called denying the finish, and just get in the way. Sven Botman can cover around. Fabi Shaw can recover. Midfielders can recover if they can, and deny and block a shot. Even if it takes a deflection, even if it goes out for a corner, you've stopped the ball going beyond you and advancing towards the goalkeeper. Even if Nick Pope's in goal, yes, he might have saved it, Dubravka might, whatever, that's irrespective. But again, if you watch it, there's highlights what I've seen, and I can send it to anybody on NBC, who we watch it over here in the States, that showed him he was barking at Dan Burn to get close, and he didn't. And that's defensive 1v1 responsibility. So he's not listening to his players around him because they know that he's going to get done. So for me, both goals were avoidable. Yes, it might have went through his legs. It might have hit him and deflected in. It is what that is. We can't. If it did, it did. So and this is, but really the thing that. And I felt sorry for Dan Burn, to be honest. The thing that broke, and I'm sure Alan, because he's a runner, this was the one that broke the camel's back. It was a fabulous ball through to Sean Longstaff, and he looked like he was running in treacle.
Oh, Kevin, I was going to say.
Sorry, I stole your thunder, but I'd seen it, and he just broke down, and it was sad, and it was so sad to see, because that's what he's done previously. And if he gets a good touch, but he just couldn't get there. And he's just sapped of energy, and he can't do it. And that was the biggest thing for me. We were making runs, we just couldn't get there. It was the almost. It was, I mean, Miggy had, like Chipper said, 4 or 5 chances, something like that. I mean, I was counting on my toes at this point. But the one that got me, was heading towards the Leeds' end, and he stabbed at it with his right foot, and I almost wet myself with laughter, because that was the worst bit of technique I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, a professional footballer can't organise your feet and put a shot towards goal with your right foot. We know he hasn't got one, but just get good contact on it, and you never know, it might go in. So there was a lot of individual errors that cost us that game, but pretty much cost us that game. And a large part of it was to do with high energy. Again, high energy. We can't do it. There's no energy level left. We can't do it anymore. We can't. And especially against another team who, Bournemouth, fair play to them, worked their socks off. They played really good stuff. There should have been 4 or 5 up potentially, in the first half.
Yeah.
Didn't get away with it. It wasn't for the 2 saves that Dubravka made or whatever. That's what he's paid to do. But in certain moments, certain decisions have to be better in certain parts of the game. And it was just overall disappointing because I thought we could have took them to the sword and really laid a marker down for Man United. And after their victory yesterday against Luton, but we just not rolled over. But it was just a bit of a damn squib, to be honest.
Good stuff. Good assessment. Bill Burnett says, must agree with Kevin. A lot of good points. Alan, your take on the game, mate?
Copy and paste. Kevin, I couldn't agree more what Kevin said there. It was exactly regarding Longstaff. I've always been admiring him, but lately, has he reached his level, lads? He was ghosting through there on Saturday, and I lost it with him. I mean, that chance that Kevin highlighted for me was like spot on. I'm thinking that's a golden chance, and he just seemed to stop. There's no.
He was hiding from the ball, Alan.
Yeah,
he was hiding.
Yeah, you know what it is, Ian. Longstaff was what Miley is now. Miley's doing the passing and going forward. If you notice, Longstaff, he's either do a side pass or back pass. He's not looking forward at all either to split the defence of their defence open. Whether that's his role or not, but when he first got into the team, that's what he was doing, Longstaff. Now I think he's reached his level. Sad to say, but I thought he was non-existent on Saturday. The game passed.
Somewhat up with him.
Well, the thing is, in midfield, we've got no real tacklers, and like Kevin said, physicality. Yes, young Miley played well, and I thought he was the man of the match for me, but the tacklers weren't there. You know, as soon as it's breaking down, we've got no pace. And so the midfield and the defence are left exposed time and time again. And it's so easy to blame Dan Burn. And again, I go back to Kevin's points. The 2 goals, the first one, you know, basically, before even Botman got the ball, there was 4 or 5 passes. It should have been up the field before even Botman got it to give it to Dubravka. So I thought it was, you know, like pathetic, really, that first goal on our part. The second one, you know, again, Burn was exposed, wrong field pass, and, you know, really, we're getting exposed too many times. And one of the points I was going to make before I forget, the defence has got no confidence in Dubravka. Every game, if you notice, game in, game out, one or either the defence is arguing with Dubravka, and they've got no confidence in him. And that leads to insecurity throughout the back four, you know. And I just cannot wait for, like, Joe Linton's not going to be there, but Willock and Anderson, give us some pace in midfield. We need it. I have to slightly disagree with Steve by saying we deserved the point. Any team that was going to win that game for me was Bournemouth, to be honest. We got a point, and I'm over the moon at that. It was a point gained, lads, in my opinion. Yes, we're disappointed we lost 2. But it was a point gained because we're not playing well at all. I thought my main gripe of the whole, and I said it on the show last night, was hundreds of people were leaving when it was 2s each with 10 minutes to go. Hundreds of people, and it's the game's on the knife edge. I just don't understand it, never will. But overall, we've got a kind fixture list after Arsenal, and I do believe we will pull ourselves round and get players back and get that confidence. We can still make a European challenge. We can still do it, even though I'm the most negative person going. And it's 50,
no, you're not. Daz is now.
You know, that way. Ian, it's 54 years now. I support.
Haven't heard me yet.
54 years of supporting him. And basically, lads, it's 54 years of failure because our class success is winning trophies. And when the likes of Man United come for a director of football, you know that he's going to try and get success for them and in the crow, because we've got to win trophies to be classed as a big club. And until we do that, we're just on the sidelines. And me, I cannot wait for the end of the season, to be honest with you.
I'll correct you there, Alan. You disagreed with me, so I'll disagree with you. He's not going to win trophies for Manchester United. He's going to feather his own nest. That's exactly. What Dan Ashworth's doing. He couldn't give a monkeys about anybody else but himself, Dan Ashworth. He's made that
100%.
George, lift the mood, George. You sounded like you were going to.
I wish I could. I'd love to come on here and just talk about how wonderful my team was and how well we've done, and all of that. There was so much happening on Saturday, both on the pitch and off the pitch for me. It was a totally frustrating game. Worst 45 minutes, the first half. Worst 45 minutes since Howe came. First half. We were absolutely flat right across the team. And this issue about whether we overperformed last year or underperformed now, wake up, lads. The rest of the Premiership work were out. We got away with it last year because they didn't know what was coming. This year they know what's coming and they're prepared for it. And that's why they're able to target the likes of Dan Burn and kick Bruno up the height and all the rest of it. Yeah. That's why life's more difficult this year than before. You've got to give credit to Dubravka for the 2 point-blank saves he made in the early part of the game. Otherwise, we would have gone in 3 or 4 down. There's no, in my mind, there's no doubt about that because we just weren't in it in the first half. So very flat right across the team. And this watering business, the number of players on both sides that were on their backside in crucial moments really got to make somebody in the ground staff and the manager have a talk. Surely the manager's got to have some decision about whether they're watering or not watering, why they're watering, all the rest of it. That's an answer. There were a lot of things on Saturday which I just saw streetwise management even years ago wouldn't have let happen. But we were so flat in the first half, it was unbelievable. The star of the game was young Miley, in my opinion. However, they need to find a sprinting coach. Go down to Blythe and find one of the professional sprinting coaches and send young Miley down there to get an extra yard. He's a good player. With an extra yard, he'd be a fantastic player. He gets the ball, but he can't get away from the people that's chasing him. So he gets hounded. Bruno on Saturday wanted to beat the same man 3 times, and that's why he had a poor game. Round and round he went, and every time he went round, somebody else was waiting for him. The second goal, now I've defended Dan Burn on here over and over again. In a general player, I'm happy to do so. Not that goal. That goal, he went towards the player, and the minute he hesitated, I turned to Steve Hasty and I said, goal. It wasn't even near the goal. But as soon as Burn hesitated and didn't go, that was it. We were dead. We couldn't do anything. And if he'd gone and kept him out of the penalty area, he could have took a yellow card outside the penalty area rather than let a goal go in. And that's what somebody really streetwise might have done. And somebody said that they could see Botman shouting at him. Well, George Mitchell in 1902 was shouting at him as well, I can tell you. It's not a pretty sight. He's got that second goal is entirely him. The first goal, I don't care what people are saying about Dubravka slipping in this. I don't care if he's playing on bloody ice. The money that he's paid, he should get hold of that ball. No question for me, I'm afraid. And no sympathy. However, the saves he made, even in the second half, kind of redeemed him a little bit. What else was I going to say? Shaw is one of my favourite players. Don't know where he was on Saturday. But this issue between him and Dubravka and other defenders, there's definitely an issue at the back when Dubravka's in that goal, and so on. Other things. Nobody's mentioned the referee. Worst bloody referee I've ever seen in the Premiership. Never mind at St James's Park. He was hopeless. He let Bournemouth run the game for the last 60 minutes. Everything they wanted, they just ran up and he was giving it. Even with the VAR thing, he let them surround him and talk to him. They're not even supposed to approach him, never mind stand and talk to him. And he let all that happen. If there'd been a red shirt on the other team playing in that game and not us, there'd have been at least 2 Bournemouth players in the dressing room for persistent fouling. Every chance they got, they were pulling people back. He was letting pulled shirts go and waving play on. But
they should have had four yellow cards in the first 30 minutes.
At least, Ian, yes. He was letting pulled shirts go, and instead of let it go, but then bring them back and book them. But he just let them go, didn't do anything. And to our lot, our team, is that I don't think we've got a coach that's streetwise in the team. What can you lads remember what Bournemouth did every time we got a free kick? Somebody went and stood in front of the ball, so we couldn't take a quick one. Well, there's a solution to that. Second times it happens, you run at the ball and kick it as hard as you bloody can, and you hope you get him in the nuts, and then not come back. And if you don't get him in the nuts, the chances are you'll get a yellow card for encroachment. I mean, that's not rocket science. It's just being streetwise football.
But say if Bruno done that, then that's some yellow card back.
People wouldn't usually do that.
Well, he wouldn't have got a yellow card. He wouldn't have got a yellow card.
You said when our players kick off the Bournemouth player, and then that antagonising their opponents, and is that if he's going to kick off, and the referee could possibly give the Newcastle United player a yellow card?
No.
Still in restart.
George is right. That you should have had about 3 or 4 yellow cards at first half. Simple as that.
I'm telling you now, if it hadn't been us, if it had been a team in red, they could have had a couple of people in the dressing room by the end of that game. No bother. But it does disappoint me that we don't seem to be. There are occasions when they don't seem streetwise. Our lot, and they. I suppose it just may be an old fashioned, but. And then back to my favourite subject. Guess what? We are an embarrassment at throw-ins. Absolute embarrassment. We've got a one just sort of halfway through the second half, about 10 metres from our byline. Our throw-in supposed to be our advantage. And before they took it, I said to Steve Hasty, 20 seconds from now, Bournemouth will have a shot on our goal. We didn't even take 20 seconds. It was only about 15, and they're screaming over the top of the bar. Why is it so hard? Tell me, please. Why is it so hard? Sorry, I'll stop there. I've never felt so negative after a match than I have with that one, because that first half really was the worst 45 minutes I've seen. And, normally I'm very positive. I was looking for 3-0 on Saturday, for goodness sake, so you can imagine how I felt. But the number of times I was, even with me walking stick, I was off my seat yelling at players because I could see things happening from where I sit. Why couldn't the coaches see it? And the lads are saying, I've got no issue. I'll defend Dan Burn generally. But that second goal, the minute he hesitated, I said to Steve Hasty, goal. And it was. And I'm not sure that Pope or Dubravka could have saved it because it was a good shot. So there you are. There's my negativity for once. And I hate doing it because I love my football and I want to be happy about my team. But there was so much happening. The referee was abysmal. Well, one last thing about VAR. This issue of players standing around and us sitting waiting 8 minutes to get a result of VAR. Are you joking? If it takes that long, it can't be right.
But George, when it came on the screen, in the stadium, it came on the screen, and they showed. And if it had had more of a hand on his shirt, it looked like he was dressing him.
Well, that's right. Why did it take all that time, even though there was 2 other decisions to make? So VAR's dead for me until they start to do same as the rugby and the rugby league do, and do it all openly on the pitch. And you hear what the ref says, you hear what the guy in the box says. It's all open, and you see all the shots they see. Frustrated that my team was like that on Saturday. I really was.
And the goalkeeper wasted 10 minutes, didn't he, George, as well? The goalkeeper wasted 10 minutes. If it was if Dubravka had done it, or Nick Pope, it would have been called the dark arts by the press in match of the day.
I tell you what, Alan. If they have the guts, the referees have the guts to enforce the 6-second rule. There'll be a couple of matches that bloody cricket scores, and then they'll stop wasting time. Because at the moment, goalkeepers are just getting away with murder because the
30-second rule
applies. Well, it's sometimes even worse than that, Ian. But never mind. Sorry,
Anthony Gordon put the ball back 3 times.
We're a little late, but here's the ads.
A big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. Go to their website, skipsandbins.com, email inquiries at skipsandbins.com, or telephone 0800 25 45 25 3, easy contract free and pay as you go waste collection. Thanks to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. Go to their website, mrvickies.co.uk, email info@mrvickies.co.uk, or telephone 01768 210 102. Thanks to United Group Travel. Go to their website, unitedgrouptravel.com, email info@unitedgrouptravel.com, or phone 01670 632 460, or mobile 0791 666 4174. They're a local company from Bournemouth, and there are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. Big thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the video side of things. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, hit the subscribe button under the video. Click the thumb up to like the video, and click share to share to your social media. If you want to help the channel financially, you can pay a one-off £25 fee. You get a cup, a scarf, a pen, and a membership card, and entry into the NUFC Matters monthly draw. Email john@nufcmatters.com for more details, or if you've got a smartphone, scan the QR code now, and it takes you straight to the membership pack. We also support the food bank on this channel. Go to nufcfansfoodbank.co.uk and you'll find the matchday bucket. You can make a donation virtually today. You can also find us on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast providers. We also do events during the year. NUFC Matters Live will be at the O2 City Hall on Friday, the 2nd of August, for an evening with Rob Lee, one night in Antwerp. Tickets start at £15, and you can get them from ticketmaster.co.uk. An evening with the entertainers takes place on Friday, the 24th of January 2025 at the Tyne Theatre and Opera House in Newcastle. Telephone 0844 249 1000 or visit the website tynetheatreandoperahouse.uk to buy tickets today. You can also catch me on the North East Footy Breakfast Show live on Toon Radio weekdays 7 till 9 a.m. on DAB, smart speakers, and the toonuk.com.
I was going to move straight into Dan Ashworth, but I will ask this question. Philip Shuttleworth says, ask the panel, is it time to give Karius a game? The players train with him as well as Dubs all week, so there's no problem there. Let's have a simple yes or no on this one, lads. Daz, would you drop Dubravka and would you play Karius?
Yes, I would.
All right. Shabazz?
Yes.
Okay. Barry?
No.
No. Ian?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Same question to you, Spanny.
Benny's lost his voice.
Yes, he's on mute.
Was he mine, man?
No.
It was a no.
No.
I'll
Okay,
keep it
mate.
back there.
Spot on. Kevin? No, I think he said.
No.
Did he say no?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on mute, Kev. You're on mute, mate.
What was the question?
Just Dubravka, would you drop him and put Karius in the next game?
No.
Okay, Alan?
No.
No. And George?
Yes.
You would?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Steve, decide and vote.
Yeah, well, I would stick with Dubravka. I wouldn't suddenly change something again. Not when Nick Pope's only about 4 or 5 weeks away. Nick Pope will be back soon, so no need to do it. Okay, there you go. That answers your question. George, I'll start with you on Dan Ashworth. What's your take on all of this then? The Dan Ashworth situation.
Well, look, there's something that the press on telling everybody, and that you know and I know. The guy who's Ratcliffe's right-hand man is Ashworth's best friend. Mm-hmm. So it was inevitable they were going to seek him out. And all I'd say to you all is, I'm watching what Sky are saying that Ashworth's done. Not a patch of it. He didn't bring Bruno to Newcastle United. He didn't bring Botman. He was there when Botman arrived to shake his hand and say welcome. But the scouting staff did all of that. Ashworth didn't do it. And then the other thing I think myself is, well, what are the what's the great plan that Ashworth's laid down? I can't think of a bloody thing. So it would be screw Manchester United for every penny you can get and goodbye by Dan Ashworth. It's my attitude.
Okay, Alan, are you happy to see the back of Ashworth? I mean, he's on gardening leave now. There's no way back for him. And wouldn't it be funny if Man United said they didn't want him now?
Well, I'm sad in one respect that he doesn't see the bigger picture and that the project we're on didn't excite him enough. I mean, to be honest, this story should have been killed months ago, lads. I mean, it was in the press in December, January. Why didn't Ashworth just come out and say, I'm going nowhere? I'm excited by the Newcastle project.
Exactly.
And just say, no, kill the story dead. No matter what the press say, I'm staying. And he didn't. And then from then on, I've just been waiting and waiting for this to come out. I just feel saddened in the fact that there's somebody that knows a lot of confidential information about the club is going to leave. But we'll move on. Unfortunately, he's went for the money. Man United fans are gloating now on the tablets I'm reading about, we're going to get him and why we're playing hardball. But I think it's our right, just like Brighton did to us. He was on gardening leave for Brighton for 6 months. So, we kind of complain if Man United wants him and say he's traitor and all that. I've read in the comments, but, he's gone for the money and basically throw a bait. We just hope and pray that the new owners, which I've got full confidence to get somebody better and somebody to stay for the long term, because it needs a lot of person in the long term. It's just all unsettling things that are happening that, like the press are making out Ashworth's the new messiah for Man United, which sticks in the craw, and I suppose we've just got to get on with it, but hopefully we'll get somebody just as good, if not better.
Okay, Kevin, should we be too disappointed about Dan Ashworth? I don't think so.
Not really. The only disappointment is, yes, he might have had a vision, a plan, but I just don't think he really had his heart in the club itself. And he's executed things with England and wherever he's been. But again, it's not all. It wasn't all. And people say it was all about him. It's all about him. And it's not about the club where he works at. So, again, it's in a phrase, I don't care, because I think we'll go and find somebody different. However, I think in another phrase, in a coin it, is job for the boys and help my mate out who's struggling, who needs a bit of help at another club in the Premier League. But whether he goes within the short-term basis or the long-term basis, I've seen within the chat that we hold all the cards in this scenario. And Man United fans, I've seen some things on Twitter and things like that earlier today, that they're literally in a meltdown to say they want him in now and blaming us and things like that. Well, yeah, blame us. He's our employee, So
just say Jesse Lingard. Just say Jesse Lingard.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it would just be nice to turn the screw and just to agitate them just that little bit more, just to annoy them. A bit of housery going on, but again, he's our employee. He's on garden leave. He's George. He's one of the best gardeners in the whole country, because that's what he always does. He leaves a post, and with Roy Keane comment that he's not loyal to a club and the project is a valid one. If you've got a project in mind, stay and see it out, or 2, 3, 4 years down the line, whatever your length of the contract is, and say, okay, I've got another offer, fair enough. Then you can understand that. But after not even a year in the job, year and a half in the job, or whatever it is, then to jump ship, he's not the most charismatic person from what I understand, and he couldn't do the deals that we were trying to do and things that I'm hearing. So I'm more looking at the future now at this point. Let's get a better, younger, fresher mind in there. Not saying an old way of doing it. He's laid a benchmark down, but can we just do something like a refresh of what he's done already and actually project the club forward?
Interesting. Yeah, somebody mentioned there about what Ashworth's like. I'll tell you, I've only seen him once. Nobby Solano invited me into the corporate area with him last season. I went up there, and as we were going up to the left, the stairs that you'll have seen the footage of Ashworth sitting in on that little seat on his own. That's exactly where he was sitting when we went in that day. And Nobby went up and approached him to say hello. You know what? When I tend to judge people, their body language. I can see what people are all about. I've studied a bit of that years ago with a sports psychology course, and I genuinely think that there is an arrogance about him. For me, when Nobby comes up here, or any player comes up here of the club, he should have stood up and he should have shook his hand. But he almost like looked from a sitting position, looked down on Nobby, and I thought that was really weird. That's just me, but I just thought there was no show of respect for the guy.
Says a lot.
And I just think, if somebody's coming up and saying hi and speak to you, and just stand up, shake their hand, give them time. But that said a lot for me, and that's the only meeting I've had or vision I've seen of him in the flesh, and I learned a lot from that.
Well, I seen him over here in Atlanta, and he sat by himself in the shade on his phone, and I didn't have any interaction with him. That again goes, I'll just sit by myself and be isolated from everything. But I know with these meetings that have been had within national recruitment staff within certain boxes within the club, he didn't even know where to go within the stadium.
Yeah, well, there you go. That says a lot.
So
that says a lot. And Muzzer, just on Muzzer's comment there, this will be the Michael Emanalo that Stu and Mitch both said had a couple of meetings with Newcastle United, but yet a lot of the local press said that was absolute rubbish and it didn't happen. Yeah, potentially could be the new director of football. Who knows? Very good friends with Jose Mourinho as well, of course. Maybe that's where those rumors have come from.
Football.
Just saying. Exactly. Just saying. You heard it here first. Over to you, Spenny. Your thoughts on the Dan Ashworth situation?
Well, as you know, I've met the guy, so I know exactly what he's like.
Mm-hmm.
For me, your description is totally right. When I was talking to him, all he was all about is what he's doing and not what all his staff is doing. It was all about him, to be honest. He asked him, what do you like of me bringing, what players do you like of me bringing in, what's your favourite player? That's what he said to us. I couldn't give a crap if he's gone or not. If you're in that position, you should be committed to the club. And you should be committed to the project you put in front of you. You should be jumping ship every 8 month, like he has with other jobs. He wanted someone who's wanting into the project, knows the area, and knows Newcastle, and can accomplish his goals. And his goals haven't been met because he hasn't been in a shot for a while. For me, we need someone else in. Definitely.
Tim, I can see your point. He says he knows all of our targets for next season. Problem is, Tim, we've got no money. We can't spend it. Financial fair play. So it's not much use to him. I get where you're coming from, though. Joking aside, I think it's, he'll have an idea of what Newcastle's game plan is for the next 2 or 3 years. But what good does that do Manchester United? They'll have their own game plan. We are going to struggle with FFP for the next couple of seasons. And that's
legally, that's a non-compete. He can't do that. That's a non-compete legally. So the club will do him for breach of internal.
No one will know who's coming in. You could say such a name, and keep guessing. Have about 10 names. I said that one. Nobody knows.
Of course. And are Manchester United driven by keeping Newcastle United behind them and doing that? Yeah, possibly. But I don't see I don't see the relevant. I think it's just another newspaper, and it's another media thing to stir things up. They'll know all the plans. You know what I mean? It's not an episode of Danger Mouse, for God's sake.
I hope he takes the head of theirs. Physio over him as well.
Brilliant.
There you go.
Ian, it's not Baron Greenback, Ian.
I know you did us do that one,
Dear me, but yeah, this Ashworth thing. I mean, I'm just glad it's over. I think I described it last night on the Professionals and this morning on the Breakfast Show and on my Twitter account last night. It's like discovering germaloids for the first time, Ian.
He's like the ultimate. I'm trying not to swear here. The ultimate. He's got the Napoleon complex, hasn't he? You know what I mean? The little short ass man. It's all about him. He's you know, the fact that what he's done is so short-sighted, because if I understand, you can probably tell me, Mitch, or you know, George, or yourself can probably tell us, but if this doesn't go against FFP, we can have him sat on his skinny little runty arse till 2016, doing the square root of F all, which he's done for us. But I put this top on especially for him, because this is the only player he's brought in, and he didn't do his due process on it, did he?
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, the only thing he's done is brought Tonali, and he's been sat on his arse all season, the plonker. And anyway, not that I don't love Tonali, I do. But no, I think that he is. I always had high hopes for him, but I always had in the back of my mind that he's a Blazer. He's another Blazer. He's an FA Blazer, right? And this has proved exactly that. You know, like that. You know, I hope we take them to the. As they say, I don't want to quote Life of Brian. Take them to the fucking cleaners. You know, leave him sat in his arse doing nothing, or take 20 million off him. That's your choice. If it doesn't come out of FFP, 20 million is pocket change to us, and it's not to them. You know, they'll have to employ another person to do the job that he's hopefully for them going to do for them. And he has done. I'm sure behind the scenes he's put a structure in place. But you know what? There's a reason everyone's saying, like, Eddie Howe doesn't get along with him. Do you know why? Because Eddie Howe's not a knobhead. You know, Eddie Howe is a good bloke. Everyone's got the problems with Eddie Howe, and he might not do this and do that. But I'll tell you what, the one thing he is, he's loyal to the club. He's loyal to his players, maybe to his detriment at times. But he is Newcastle, and that little skinny run is not. That's all I'm going to say before I start swearing.
Okay, Barry, what's your thoughts?
It's getting blown totally out of proportion, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't mean anything to the team. It doesn't really mean anything to the club, because I think, like the guys have already said, he hasn't exactly set the world alight with the decisions that he's made. And if he's claimed to fame is signing Tonali, then he's, you know, it's not really something to be proud of. I just hope that we get somebody better in, somebody who's got contacts, who can bring us decent players. Personally, I would love to see Sir Les come in, but I don't know if that's going to happen, because I don't know if he's got the contacts that this club will want. But I would like to see somebody who gets it. I think that's the biggest insult for me. Just he doesn't get the Newcastle. Yeah. He doesn't get the idea. He doesn't get the fans, and he's comment. I don't have a problem with him going to Man United, just the way he's disrespected the club. I think the sooner he goes, the better state, and then we can just move on.
Chippers?
Yeah, well, I was a bit like what Stu said last night about him attracting players to Brighton and not attracting them to Newcastle. There's a difference from attracting somebody to a football club and selling them on for a profit to a bigger club, and then there's a difference from already bringing somebody to a bigger club and keeping them at this club, because ultimately he hasn't done it. He's had 4 transfer windows since he's been here, and the one player we really know of he's brought in is got suspended for 10 months. So basically enjoy winning nothing for Man U, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be more people interested in our director football position than what there was for the Man U position.
Well, sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Is that it, Chippers? Are you finished?
Yeah, sorry.
I thought you'd lost your signal there. All right, Darren.
No.
Your view.
I kind of agree with Barry a lot. If you had any believe in the project, he's jumped ship so fast, and he's just coming out for the sake of it to go to the. He might not like up north at all, so it might be too cold for him. So, I don't know. I'd love to know the real reason why he's going, but if he doesn't believe in Newcastle, he doesn't like the project, get rid of him. We want somebody who's committed and wants to stay loyal. So that when a club come for him, he wants to go. So I hope the club will find somebody who's better qualified, and they will. But I'm just like more cheesed up for him. To be fair, he's jumped ship. He's skinny now, and but for once I can agree with Ian, and I'll never agree with Ian that much. The things he said.
Never.
It pains me to say that, Ian. You know that. But no. Just see what happens next, and hopefully the club will get somebody else.
And you make a drive, a little prick. That's what I say. Get in your garden.
We'll finish up with this one because Yano did ask this earlier on. Last question of the night. Question is: are we really expecting to get European football, lads, when we've got 7 first-team players out of our starting lineup? At best, you're going to get mid-table. Are we right? You've all been very, I would say, depressed tonight. I think you have been. I think there has been an atmosphere around this forum tonight. You're all agreed on one thing: you weren't happy with the result. I'm not expecting you to be happy with it, but I just felt I just think we are where we are. We started on Saturday with no striker, so I think there's a sense of realism in me. Whether that just comes, and Alan and George have probably been George, maybe Spenny have been supporting Newcastle slightly longer than me. George certainly has. Alan, how many years for you?
This will be my 54th year.
Spenny, what about you?
So I'm the same age as you. You really cheeky git.
You look older.
A long 1983.
My first match, 1945.
Ian, what about you?
1983, yeah. Steve, same as you.
So there we go. So the elder statesmen are me, Spenny, Alan, and George on this panel. So I think we should all know that this isn't as bad as it could be, because we've all been a hell of a lot worse, lads. So we really should be a bit more cheery. I think when we get a 2-2 draw against Bournemouth at home, that would be my mindset. But let's go back to Yano's question. Daz, should we really be expecting European football with all these injuries that we've had?
No, not really. At the start of the season, I think people was this thing was overachieving as it was. Start of the season, people were going to finish top 4 again, going to finish top 3. I never thought that one bit because we still need to build a squad.
At the start of the season, our squad was improved. We had Tonali and we had Harvey Barnes coming into a team that had finished 4th in the Premier League and got to a cup final. So for me, the squad was the same. We didn't lose anybody. Well, ESM obviously departed. But other than that, the squad had been improved. But
it's like what George said though last year. I'd say overachieving, but this season, teams know how we play. And anyhow, had his first full season last year, and one first full season and the second season, and see how we do. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what it goes on anyhow. So I think we have been unlucky completely with injuries this year. We get player back, player out. Tonali was unexpected, to be fair. But, yeah, whatever happens this season, we've got 37 points, but he's not getting relegated.
Oh, so God. You are starting to become the son of Alan. Chippers.
I didn't think I was that bad, Steve.
Yeah, honestly, he is really. I think he's playing at the gallery. Chippers. Do we give us your views on this? Can you expect European football with the amount of injuries?
Not at this present time, no. But the question for me I'll be asking is, apart from Joel and Wilson, when's everybody coming back? Because are they coming back any time soon? Are they coming back 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, 4 weeks' time? The question is, Eddie Howe gives nothing away. We only know that Joel is going to be back for the last game of the season, and Wilson's probably not going to play again this season. Yeah,
Isaac and Willock will be back for Arsenal. They were very close to making the game at the weekend. That's what he said after the match against Bournemouth.
Well, we've got Anderson to come back into midfield as well. Who else is there? Is there Target to come back possibly as a squad player? It's then you're looking at squad players after that, really. The thing is,
Barnes is back, and Nick Pope will be back. Nick Pope will be back in March.
Nick Pope's the big one to get back, because for me, he's the one that as soon as he's back, that defence will seem to have their trust up again. So But again, how many games is he going to come back for? Is it going to be too little too late if we start winning games? The points we're giving away at the minute. So at the minute, I can't see us getting European football until I said we would, but if we keep dropping points like what we're doing in games, you would like to think we're going to pick up wins. Then no, we're not going to get it. It's as simple as that.
Good old Rory, that's the spirit. Joe Linton will be back for the cup final.
Hopefully not his last game for the league, but never mind.
All right, should we be expecting Europe with the injuries we've had, Barry?
I think we still do it. I honestly think the players are coming back. I know I don't want to say it because I dread it when we say, well, we've got an easy run in, and then the teams with class as easy either turn us over or they push us to the bloody limits. But I think with the players are coming back just at the right time for us to go on a run. I don't see why they can't do it. My only worry is obviously you're bringing them back and you're pushing them back into the side very quickly, which is what Howe tends not to like to do. But I think there's still a lot left in this season still. And I think the route to the cup final could well get us a place in Europe as well. I can't see why we couldn't at least make it to the final, depending on who we get to play in the final, which could give us well and truly the chance to qualify out. I still think we can do it. I don't think we'll reach the Champions League positions, but I would settle for anywhere in Europe at the minute.
Okay, Ian.
Have we not got a factor that Bruno and Gordon could be missing 2 games coming up shortly as well if they get booked?
Possibly. Bruno's doing a hell of a job at the minute, not getting booked.
He is, like, he's behaving himself. Isn't he?
That's going to take a little bit away from his game.
I think he get put against Arsenal when we're going to beat.
Oh, you bloody would. Go on, Ian.
So just while we were doing that,
Go on, Darren.
I just thought with Darren and Alan being a pair of baddies on here, I just thought they were like 2 stroppy little buggers, like clowns, like that was Darren now. So I just quickly Googled what's the pantomime at the Tyne Theatre next year, and it's fucking Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. So I would say that Alan will definitely be one of the dwarfs. No offense, George, you could get in there as well. And can you imagine Big Gaz as Snow White?
Listen to what he's saying about this, Emily. Listen to what he's saying about this.
I was going to say the with its swanky.
I'm struggling. I'm struggling. You know, when you ask somebody, should we be qualifying for Europe? With all these players injured, and we end up talking about dwarfs and Snow White. I really don't know.
I thought, hey, that's what I'll bring into the show.
Well, it is, yeah.
The answer is yes.
Great, cheers, yeah. Spenny's sitting there.
He's shaking his head.
Talking about dwarfs.
Is he grumpy? Or is that Daz? Who's sleepy?
Me, I'm tired at the minute, like, definitely.
Oh, you're sleazy.
Oh, damn me.
I'll be interested to find out what the panel would say after the Aston Villa game when we won.
I know, but this is what I mean. Like, what would the panel be like if we'd lost 4 games? What unbeaten in 4 games, Spenny? 2 wins and 2 draws.
We just drew with Bournemouth. Fair enough, the home form's not very good, but the away form's brilliant.
So if we'd beaten Luton at home and beaten Bournemouth at home and got draws against Forest away and Villa away, would everyone be different?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it would be the same amount of points.
Yeah. I'll go 6th still, mate. I was 3rd, but looking at Saturday's result and looking at how weak we are in midfield, and we're not protecting the defence is what we should be, like the lads have already said. Our course, we'll get a 6th in the FA Cup final win. We'll get into Europe.
All right. Should we be expecting Europe with the injuries, Kev?
I think we should. With the players that were coming back, I don't see why we can't. If we give it a good push, I know Darren's going to be complaining and negative, but let's be positive.
It's not negative, it's positive. I'm just telling you.
No, it is negative. Opinion. Which is fine. Just give it a big push to the end of the season. Why can't we go to the FA Cup final? Why can't we get into 6th, 7th place in the division. Why can't we do that? Yes, I don't care. Injuries happen. It's part of football. But it's up to the players to have a desire to go and reach the highest levels that they can actually go and achieve. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But all you can say at the end of the season said, hey, they give it a good crack there, but and hopefully we'll get there. If it works, if it doesn't, like I said, if it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll have to give it a go. If we don't give it a go, then we might as well just sit on a lounger with the flip-flops on and have a beer in the hand and call it a season.
Yeah.
By the way, I've got to go, fellas.
Okay, mate. Take care.
Take care, Kevin. Take care.
See you later.
See you, Kevin.
Thanks to Kevin. Okay, Alan, your views.
Yes, we can.
Don't worry, people at home. Ian won't be going on again. We've moved him down because Kevin's gone. And Darren definitely won't be going back on. Go on, Alan. Go on, Alan.
Yes, we can. Unfortunately for us, lads, the next 3 or 4 games, the teams are the ones that are in form. Arsenal, Wolves, and Chelsea now that we're playing next. It just so happens that's a twist of fate that we've got. Certainly we can, because after Arsenal, I don't feel, like I said last week, I said 7th, I'll stick by it until things either improve or get worse. Looking at the league table, the lowest we can finish is, in my opinion, is 11th, which would be bad. But like I've said a few times on different podcasts, lads, if we finish in the top 10, that'll be only the 5th time in 20 years we've finished in the top 10. And that'll mean Howe's done it twice. And people are wanting him sacked. So I just don't get it. It's been an injury-ridden season. I still think we could make a charge if we just get the confidence and the belief. But yes, we can do it.
It's ludicrous saying Howe's going to be sacked. Ludicrous.
Yeah, I know. But people are, wanting.
It's absolutely bollocks. No way he's going to stand.
That'll be only the 5th time in 20 years we've finished in the top 10.
Yeah.
People have got to realise that we're starting from a low base. And until, I keep on saying to people, until we improve our turnover from 250 million to 500 million, we will not challenge the top 4 on a regular basis. It's behind the scenes count just as much as on the pitch.
Yeah, I agree with Alan. Alan, I agree with you 100%. And it really does depend, though, on what our owners want. And it also depends, and I think I said this, and I know Stu and Mitch agreed with us yesterday, but we were talking about it. Whoever comes in as the new director of football will have a working relationship, if he's been in that job before, with another manager, and they may favour another manager further down the line. So people saying this is a Howe versus Ashworth thing. I think they're wide of the mark, but clearly those two people have to get on. The manager and the director of football have to get on, and you never know. This could be the beginning of the end of Howe moving forward. But there are people out there who want him out. But the work that Eddie Howe's done for us, I wouldn't lose.
I'd back Eddie Howe every day of the week and twice on Sunday above that little no mark. I'm telling you.
He's done a great. Listen, Eddie Howe's done a great job. Absolutely brilliant. This season won't be remembered for finishing in the top 4. It might be remembered for a cup final. We're still in the FA Cup, of course. With all the injuries we've got, I'd be very surprised if it does. But this season should be remembered because what he's done has been absolutely amazing with the players that he's had available. You can think back to 3 or 4 games, Manchester United away in the Carabao Cup with that makeshift defence, coming away with a 3-0 win. Wow. Putting Lewis Miley on a football pitch at the age of 17. I know the player's got to be up to it, but, to be able to get the performances that have got out of Lewis Miley, a boy in a man's shirt like that, absolutely outstanding. And then just look across that back. Look at Emil Kraft. Look at Joe Linton. Look at Miguel Miron. Look, they're all still playing as, maybe it's not as well as they did last season for various reasons, but yeah, Eddie Howe will be remembered by Newcastle fans as a good manager. If he wins something, he'll be a great manager, of course. But George, final word to you tonight, mate. The question was, should we be expecting European football with all the injuries we've had?
Yes, there's no reason. Somebody said it. Get them all firing on one. So the good thing about even Saturday was they haven't lost the spirit. They kept going. Under Bruce, that would have been a massacre because we would have given up. The spirit's still there. I'm a bit worried still about something in the dressing room, this thing with Dubravka. And it was noticeable on Saturday to me. I can't remember seeing Miggy smile all game, and that's unusual. Anyway, the answer to your question is if they get the spirit up and they get one or two back, I don't think it needs to be everybody. We've got enough skill and enough guts in there to go on a run with the programme we've got left and at least get a European place. It might not be Champions League, but at least get a European place. And I'm still hopeful enough to see we're in a cup final. I wouldn't be surprised. And if I can finish on a very positive note, just to say to my friends out there, Emily, Louise, Cara, Sandra, I'll be on Instagram later, girls.
Oh, you dirty old bastard.
On that note, I've got, I never make apologies, but I'm going to refer Ian. Ian, you've been absolutely outstanding tonight, mate. And I know you've been through the mill at hospital, but thanks for all your references, which had absolutely nothing to do with Newcastle. And Darren, thanks for being the cheery soul tonight.
It's got to be done, mate.
You've taken me title, Darren. You've taken me title.
On a separate
I've listened to you too much. That's the trouble.
On a separate note, I just want to say that Steve Wilkinson's funeral went off very, very well today. He got a great send-off. And there was no irony lost. There was no irony lost in Sunderland today, which is where his ceremony was, in the heart of Sunderland. That local hero played Steve out today. Not once, but it was on a loop twice, with his beloved Newcastle United entertainer shirt draped over his coffin today. So, Steve, we'll miss you. Thanks for everything you've done for us. Newcastle United. Newcastle United and Newcastle United fan base is a worse place without you. But safe travels, kiddo. We love you to bits. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Good night, everybody. Good show, lads.
Yeah, here we go.
Hi, I'm Trev.
Hush now, city kids, gather round for rubbing mints. Hush now, city kids.
When it came to me after so long, I didn't have no choices in the streets where I was from. When I think about the pain, I didn't have no choices. I took what I had sworn.
Hush now, city kids, gather round for rubbing mints. Hush now, city kids.
But you know, they wouldn't let you have it any other way. Stepping back from what you like, the past just pulls you back in again. Save me from myself, it just carries on. Just carries on.
Hush now, city kids, gather round for rubbing mints. Hush now, city kids.
When I think about my friends, I didn't have no voices telling me to win it. What I take, it becomes mine. I'm gonna build an empire, one without a shrine. But you know, wouldn't let you have it any other way. Stepping back from what you like, the past just pulls you back in again. Save me from myself, it just carries on. Just carries on. know I wouldn't let you have it any other way. Stepping back from what you lack, the past just pulls you right back in again. Save me from myself, it just carries on. Just carries on. Just carries on. Just carries on.
Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids. Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids.